A profile now on Nighttime of Canadian rock legends Rush.
I think all three of us like to be creative. All three of us like to feel like that we're contributing something somewhere. And this is our thing. This is what we do. This is how we write. And we think that the three of us together stands up as a stronger thing than the three of us as individuals. So, which, you know, is why, in one sense, we called our latest album Counterparts, because we really see that relationship, that one-to-one being the total picture. So I guess we're just addicted to that kind of productivity and that creativity. Arts, to me, is, I guess, describing how it's different from what we've done in the past is, you know, every time around is not an easy thing. We've got about, this is, I think, our 19th album, so, you know, describing yourself 19 times over is not a very easy thing to do. But the biggest difference I think people will notice when they listen to this record is sonically, I think it's quite a departure. It's a much more upfront, in-your-face sound. We've purposely gone a slightly different approach, a bit less layers, less keyboards. We've kind of brought the guitar back into focus a bit. And certainly from a rhythmic point of view, the sound of bass and drums is much more aggressive and much deeper sounding record. And maybe a fan would tell me, "Are you crazy? The last record sounded completely different from this one." So to me, they seem like there's always elements in a previous record that lead to what we'll end up experimenting with further on the next record. And they all seem like experiments to me. You know, maybe that's something I shouldn't admit, but that's how they all feel. Because I think we're always tinkering with this sound that's inherent to us. I mean, there's a basic sound that never goes away, and I think that comes from the fact that we have strong musical identities, and they come across as us. My voice sounds, you know, fairly unique, and the way we play is identifiably us. So those things are always there. We never really know what we're going to do until we sit down and start writing. And I would say that if there was one thing that we decided beforehand, it would be that we needed a change of sound. And as I described earlier, the more aggressive, kind of drier, more upfront, less English, if you will, sound was one that was a conscious effort and something that we felt we were moving in that direction over the last few years. And it was a direction I think that we wanted to go, and I feel very satisfied with the result. But in terms of the writing and other things about the album, it just kind of happened. Kind of like, what does Neil call it? He calls us the sponge. We just kind of absorb musical influences and styles, and there's so many and they're so diverse that you can't really tell where they're coming from. Unlike our early days where it was all too obvious who was influencing us. But I think if you look back to Permanent Waves, I think it was a time where there was a lot of different rhythmic influences in music, you know, reggae and ska and those kind of things. And I think that tweaked our interest, and some of that crept into our music in a subtle way, as much as it can when you're working in kind of a very hard rock medium. And I think to a certain degree what's been going on the last few years in terms of bands like Soundgarden and Chili Peppers and Primus even, and some of these more exuberant bands, and even over here a band called Curve, I think the energy of those bands has influenced us to a certain degree to have a slightly more energetic attitude about what we're doing now. So although these trends don't really influence us, every once in a while there will be a contemporary thing that's going on that will affect, and it really comes more from an attitude than from an absolute direct musical influence.